Modi's historic visit to France. Modi is a very shrewd leader and maybe one of the best ones. Macron is a very good businessman with a very strong Rothschild family behind him that has the world under its fingertips with the Rockefellers. France and Macron understood very well that their future is in Asia and no longer in the West with a declining USA and a shaky dollar. Macron learned a great deal in his battle against Erdoğan and Türkiye that playing Greece and the US was a total fiasco. France has seen its influence diminishing in Africa where its bread and butter was coming from. The Chinese invasion and later the Turkish one in Africa put France out of the game. France without its revenue from Africa would have the same future as a poor third world country. France needs India more than India needs France. With a 1.4 billion population, India is a huge market like China. Macron had to lay down the red carpet for Modi in order to get the defense contracts that could boost the French economy from a catastrophic situation after COVID-19. France has been declining for decades since Mitterrand took office, and just before during Giscard d'Estaing, France had faced a catastrophic crisis due to a sharp increase in oil prices. France has enormous brain capacity with its research and development in so many areas including aeronautics, information technology, health and sciences, and many more. This is why you have all the spies from the West and the East in France stealing patents. The CIA is very active in France like the KGB was in the past. The US does not want a strong Europe and a strong France, which could be annoying competition in the EU, Africa, and now in Asia. France with Total has a very strong partnership in Russia with Putin, and that is here to stay. This was one of the reasons that they assassinated Total's big boss, Christophe de Margerie, in Russia in a fake plane accident. He was too close and friendly with the Kremlin. Macron is struggling at home with internal issues that were created by the CIA in order to keep France very busy with its own problems. The French intelligence services that sometimes cooperate with the CIA and the MI6 know very well which organizations were behind the Yellow Vests movement and the latest uprising in France, which was triggered by the death of a young man of North African origin. It is very easy to create internal small-scale civil wars in France thanks to a very frustrated ethnically African French population that was never accepted as a real French citizen. You need to understand that France is still carrying the weight and the ideology of colonialism, which has never left their DNA. France is one of the most racist countries in the world, like Japan and the UK. In France, racism and prejudice are common even among ethnically French people. For example, the Parisian does not like anyone. From the north to the south of France, you have so many different accents and living preferences. It is very difficult to understand that France could be this welcoming multicultural state in the middle of Europe. France needs new friends and new markets for its survival. The US is its number one competition. The UK was put within the EU as their horse of Troy in order to control and damage it. This strategy worked, but it damaged as well the UK's economy. The difference is that the UK was smart enough not to fall into the Euro folly, which was one of the most destructive initiatives. The EU was created by megalomaniac leaders like Giscard d'Estaing, Mitterrand, Helmut Schmidt, and Helmut Kohl. They all wanted their names in history. They were thinking that thanks to the EU they will be able to fight against the US with the GATT agreements. In the end, the US won by making the euro too powerful, and this made the EU lose their competitive edge against the US products. France and the EU are going through critical times. Macron is a young, ambitious president that can play as a startup Silicon Valley-style leader. In my opinion, his biggest mistake of Macron is his style of dictatorship/monarchy, which really does not suit the French population that wrote the book on making revolutions.